Hi friends, day 30, Rediscover Jesus. Today it's all about blind spots. Certainly we all have blind spots. I don't know about you, but when I think of blind spots, I always think of learning how to drive. In the case of my parents and those who don't go to driving school, when I was in driving school, they reminded us, don't drive like your parents. They don't check their blind spots. So I remember coming home and talking to my dad. I said, Papa, do you check your blind spots? Yeah, I check my blind spots. Well, I don't think you totally check by looking. It's hard for us to recognize that we all have blind spots. And when challenged, do we check our blind spots? Sometimes we can get a little defensive. We often don't see ourselves the way others really see us and the way we really are. And when we think of our own spiritual life and our character, that's certainly true. Matthew brings up our marriage, our parenting style, our finances, our health, our business, our church, our life. Many, many, many topics fall into our blind spots that we're not always aware of. So I really thought his comment of, have you ever asked 4 or 5 friends their opinion on how you're living on the above topics? Have you ever done that? I think you should. I'm going to do it myself. What a beautiful opportunity for us to really ask ourselves the way things truly are as opposed to what we see or think them to be. Matthew also goes on to speak about spiritual directors and how their job is often they're criticized of being too tough or too easy, but rather their job is to help us to really focus to see where God is moving in our life. Oftentimes we have blind spots to see even where God is in our life. We use our past fears, our insecurities, and even at times cynicism to help dictate the decisions, choices, and the relationship that I have or refuse to have with God. So he asks a very pointed question for us today. Can I accept the fact that I have blind spots? And am I willing to look at them? Someone who acknowledges that they have blind spots practices and develops humility. It's not about self-judgment or the judgment of others. Rather, true humility is where only a humble soul can be led, coached, and receive spiritual guidance. How many of you who are much older than I, or perhaps younger than I, think that, well, what does Father Rico have to teach me? I know everything about my faith. I've been a Catholic for 50 years. Are we open to learn? Am I open to learn as a priest, or do I think because I'm a priest I know everything too? You see how that can be extremely problematic and where we're not actually practicing humility, nor are we checking for the blind spots in our life. When he talks about docility, he also talks about how the Holy Spirit is to shape and guide us. Am I open to the Holy Spirit guiding our life? Or do we feel that we're in the driver's seat and only what I want is what's going? And then the idea of judging others. Are we blind to the fact that we can often be very critical of others? The question Matthew gives us, how are your blind spots affecting your relationships with God and with others? Lord, take the blindness from our eyes so that I can see people, situations, and myself as you do. God bless you, friends.